Let's begin with our prayer. Master of all worlds, highest power,
merciful parent of passion,
your presence,
eternal one, source of strength for us,
you have been for
our ancestors. We very humbly acknowledge you.
What are we?
What are we?
What is our
life that you have done such great kindness to us? Therefore, we place our appeals before you, that you may forgive and absolve us of all our faults and failings. Let our faults never become barriers between us and you.
And
may be your desire to prepare our hearts to feel awe and love for you. May you listen to these words of ours. May you open our encumbered hearts to the mysteries of your Torah. May this our study be a source of pleasure before your throne of glory, sweet incense. May you shower down upon us the light of our soul's force in all the ways by which we define ourselves. May the sparks of your holy servants, through whom you have revealed these words to the world, shine and sparkle. May their merit, their ancestors' merit, and the merit of their Torah, their innocence and their holiness, stand for us. Prevent us from stumbling when we study these words. In their merit, may our hearts be illumined by what we study, as in the saying of the sweet singer of Israel. Open my eyes that I may gaze into wonders of your Torah. May the words of my mouth, the thoughts of my heart be acceptable to you, my rock, my redeemer. For it is the eternal who grants wisdom. It is from his mouth that knowledge and understanding issue forth.
Na 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 Oh, no, no, no. No, 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 no. Oh, no, no, no. No, 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 no. Oh, no, 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 oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, here we are. We're on page 384 in our Zohar text, and we're going to start from the third line on the top, which gives us the biblical verse that then we're going to really not deal with for a while, because we're going to go through a whole roundabout introductory midrashic discussion until we come back to it. So, okay. So, and of course, the background here is that Rachel is finally remembered by God. She has her son Joseph as her first child. And then when she's pregnant with Benjamin, that's when finally Jacob says, okay, this is and that's now or never. And I got to get out of here. And he begins his return home. So that's the background. Then we talked about that, his decision, his calculations, what was at stake, and so on. So we're, as I say, 384, third line, come and see. Does anybody in this group want to, oh, there's a hand sticking out from a screen over there. Oh, go ahead, Beryl.
Come and see what is written. God remembered Rachel.
Okay, so that's, if you see, look at 520, the note.
God remembered Rachel. The verse continues. God listened to her and opened her womb.
So she was always praying and begging for a child. Finally, her womb is opened and she has Joseph. So now, here we go. He opened. He is Rabbi Abba. Go ahead.
He opened, saying, for the leader of the sons of Korach upon
Alamot,
a song. This verse should be contemplated, for it constitutes a mystery of wisdom. All these songs and praises chanted by the sons of Korach, they all renew those songs and praises of old. Similarly, all those songs and praises chanted by David and all his associates were all in supernal mystery, in the spirit of wisdom.
Okay, so we have the beginning here, like I say, very often to start a midrashic discourse, we take a verse from some other place, sometimes Song of Songs, sometimes Psalms, and sometimes other, but Psalms and Song of Songs are major sources for the kickoff verse. And here's the verse, right? Lam natseach livnei Korach al ha'alamot. Right, so the translation for the leader of the sons of Korach upon the alamot. So the truth is nobody knows what alamot means. And if you look at the note, look at 521, please.
Of the sons of Korach upon alamot, 11 psalms are associated with the sons of Korach, who were a guild of temple singers or musicians.
Etc. Caesar and so on.
The technical term alamot may refer to an instrument such as a flute or express a vocal quality, perhaps youthful soprano, based on alma, maiden, damsel.
Okay, etc. Okay, so it's some kind of musical term. We're not quite sure what. This is, and we have other places, you know, in other psalms that tell us that this should be played on such and such an instrument or whatever. We're not always sure what the instruments are or what kind of choral reference we have. But we have a couple of features to this beginning of the psalm. First of all, we know who wrote it, right? It's Bnei Korach. It's the children of Korach. So we should just refresh our memories. Korach was a cousin of Moses. He was a Levite, just like Moses. And he challenged Moses and Aaron's authority. He tried to lead a kind of a rebellion, an insurgency, we might use that word. He and his 250 people who are cohorts of his and leaders of the people, and Datan and Aviram. So the earth swallows them up and they disappear. Like, this is God's strong expression of displeasure with them and his strong support that no, Moses and Aaron are the legitimate leaders. So we have that later on. But the one thing that we need to recall is that in some kind of way that we could think about and imagine, Korach's own sons don't follow him. He has this kind of charisma that brings a lot of people to believe in him, in his leadership. But the Torah itself testifies, Uvnei Korach lo metu. The sons of Korach did not die. And then later on, when we have the book of Psalms, we actually have them functioning as creative participants in making Jewish prayer, right? That's what the Psalms are. They are Levites, like their father was, like their uncle was, Moses. So that's their job. Part of their job is to be in charge of the temple musical songs and playing the instruments and so on. And they created these new compositions. So that's what we have here in the introduction to the psalm. And we have this mysterious term, alamot, right? So in Hebrew, alamot could be associated with a number of different other Hebrew words. So the note gives us, for instance, one term, and that the Zohar is going to work on later on in another couple of paragraphs, and that's the word alma. An elem is a young man, and an alma is a young woman, a maiden. So that's one possibility, that there's some kind of association with that word.
The falsetto.
What?
They sing falsetto.
Right. So that's why the note says maybe it means like a high, pure kind of sound, maybe an instrument that has that kind of association. So that's one possibility. We can split the word. We can split the word into al, which means on, and then mot, which means death, dying. So then we have maybe a kind of an allusion to something that will never die, right? That will transcend death, that will go beyond death. A song that takes us into a realm beyond mortality. And the song basically is a song of praise to God, that psalm. And then there's one other possibility, and that is, what do we say when we make a blessing? and we refer to God. We say, Baruch Atah Hashem, Elokeinu Melech
Ha'olam.
Ha'olam, right? So the word olam maybe is also part of the associative field that we can establish with this word, right? And then olam, worlds, olamot, right? Worlds upon worlds. And finally, we have one other possible associative thread, and that's the word ne'elam. The word ne'elam means hidden, disappeared. So alamot could be mysterious, unknown regions or concepts or beings or something like that. Right? So we have any number of associations. Many of them take us off into a little bit more of a, a kind of a mysterious place. And now let's see what the Zohar starts doing with it. So it says we should really pay attention to this verse. Let's contemplate this verse, right? So let's look at it and ponder it. Okay, so I do a lot of talking. The Zohar also eventually does a lot of talking. But what the Zohar says here, first of all, and it says it many times and we've encountered it, is start by not talking. Start by contemplating. Right? Slow down a little bit. Look into this verse. Just look at it. Gaze at it. Gaze at it, with as we say in the prayer, open my eyes to the wonders of your Torah. Right? So let the verse sit there in front of you and confront it, right? Face to face with the verse. And then let's see what happens. Because it constitutes a mystery of wisdom. There's stuff here that is hidden away in these, black and white spaces that constitute the verse on the page. There's a mystery of wisdom, something deeper for us to get at. Okay. So now what does the Zohar go off to? It says, let's understand that there's something special about these songs. These psalms that were created by the children of Korach, they all renew those songs and praises of old. What do we make of that? What's the Zohar claiming here? What's the Zohar trying to make us see in these compositions that, we have they're signed compositions. We know who made these up, right? They weren't made by David. They weren't made by Moses. They were made by the children of Korach. They wrote up these songs. And yet the Zohar says that they renew songs of old. So how would we explain it? Nobody?
Everything old is new again.
How?
Somehow, even though it's the children of Korach that are composing these songs, it's somehow recapitulating what's already been done. Maybe, putting a little twist on it to give it their own originality, but the basic thing is something that's already been done as of old.
Okay, yeah. Jen, you wanted to say something?
Honestly, I was going along Craig's lines and thinking that can that literally mean that this is a cover and that, not in a bad way? It's just that they're bringing back something that had fallen out of use or fallen out of fashion, or maybe they're going back before Korach's time and bringing something back out there.
Right. So yeah, I think that all of these, suppositions or speculations are part of this. what the Zohar, and this is something, of course, that's part of the discussions that everybody has about all human creativity, all artwork, and so on. You know, there are, you know, learned books. There are only 3 stories, you know, that, you know, all stories, all sagas, all novels, they end up being categorized as story 1, 2, and 3, or, you know, or 7 stories, 7 types. You know, there's nothing new under the sun, says Kohelet. And he was probably covering you know, somebody who said that even before him, right? So the idea that no matter how new it is, there's some essential quality that's in there that it's expressing. Maybe there's some kind of new format of expression or some new twist that, like Craig was saying, but really, if it's worth anything that we're going to remember, if it's going to be cherished and appreciated, it's because it hits something that's not brand new. It hits something that's more eternal, that's been around for a long time. It hits something that's true, and what's true has always been true. You know, when the new truths that we discover, if they're true, they've been true since the beginning of time. So we may not know it, we may not be able to grasp it, we may not be able to even see it at any particular time. It may be hidden, it may be covered up, ne'elam, it may be completely not within our ken at any particular time, and then poof, it becomes apparent. So the claim here is that these psalms, newly written, hot off the press from the children of Korach, actually they are a renewal, they are refurbishing, they are a reiteration of whatever's really good in there has been there from before, has been there from earlier times. Now, if we just stop here, one of the things that to me makes me kind of imagine is that they are the children of Korach. These are new songs of the children of Korach, but they go back. Did they go back to Korach?
Rabbi?
Hold on a second. So did they maybe you know, who trained them? Are they completely discontinuous with their father Korach? Are they completely new creations, newly self-educated or whatever? Maybe Korach had some role, you know, a positive role in giving them that power of song that they are able to use the right way, and that he wasn't able to use so much the right way, but nevertheless coming from before, right? Because children of Korach, notice they don't have a name of their own. It doesn't say that this is Yedutun or this is some other person that we had never even heard of. Their identity is, I'm the child of Korach and I'm writing a song. Yeah, Rich.
Yeah, I was just going to say that it could be to establish that there's no break in the chain.
Mm-hmm.
Not just with Korach, but with what came before Korach.
Right. So, and the same thing, when we say that about them and Korach, we say that about Korach, and we say that about Korach's great-grandfather and great-grandmother, and so on and so forth. And that's actually, in the end, what does the Zohar continue, you know, saying in the rest of this paragraph? Similarly, all those songs and praises chanted by David and all his associates. Right. So B'nai Korach is just like one glaring example, but it's true about all of the creations that became part of the Psalms, all in supernal mystery, in the spirit of wisdom. Right? So this is saying that we say in sometimes we say in the Psalms, "V'nomar lafanav shira chadasha." Let's sing before God a new song. Right? Or, you know, on Friday night we say that, right? Shir Lashem Shir Chadash. Let's sing to God a new song. And now what the Zohar is saying is every new song, if it's worth its salt, it's a new song for sure, but the songness of it is because it's taking something from something really primordial, from something that is you know, rooted beyond the particular moment, right? Beyond the now.
Yeah, I have a comment.
Well, yes, Len.
Yeah, if it seems to me that the Cantor family would really like this paragraph because it's really speaking to the musicality of the sons of Korach, and they bring in David, who is also known for his musicality as well. So it's really speaking, and I'm sure we've heard the same psalm or the same prayer, in shul many times. But if you have someone who is really skilled and well trained, and you love the sound of their voice and their musicality, it takes you to a whole nother level, even though you've heard the same prayer thousands of times before.
Right. So yes, absolutely. And I just want to, it's a broad principle and a broad common experience that we have. The Zohar may be focusing specifically on the book of Psalms, which is identified with David. But then, of course, we know that he had associates. We know that there are different Psalms that are explicitly, attributed to other people besides David. Not just the sons of Korach get credit for certain Psalms, but other people get credit for some of the Psalms as well. So I think you're right. It's a very broad, phenomenon and experience. Starting though for the Zohar with this sense of Tehillim per se. A thought hits me. Jen mentioned the word when somebody sings somebody else's song in like pop culture today, right? We call it a cover, right? Do you know how that came about? Why is it called a cover?
Oh, Craig would probably know this more than me. You know, I actually don't know.
Look at him shaking his head.
Okay.
He's keeping it a secret. So that's somebody's homework. Somebody should look up. There you go. Thank God for those brilliant phones. Why do they call them smart? They're not just smart. They're brilliant. You call them brilliant phones. But what occurs to me, and this is not, I'm not claiming this as the etymology. What occurs to me is how appropriate that is for what we're talking about alamot, about mystery, right? The Zohar loves the idea of covering and revealing, the idea of hiding and then bringing stuff into vision, of concealing and then revealing. So it's a funny kind of thing when somebody singing somebody else's song. Obviously, we have imitations. That's like kind of like. That's like a little entertaining kind of trick. It's like dancing bears. Oh, look, that person sounds just like Al Jolson. There are these clubs where people, Elvis imitators. But that's not a real cover thing, right? What we are interested in is when some other artist takes somebody else's personal expression, and at the same time that they're redoing it, they're also in some way adding something, right? They're adding something of their own. So I think that in some way does come into this sense that there's this thread, there's this essence that each one of us can touch and be related to with, but at the same time we're also adding on our own. I want to note that is it a coincidence that we're reading this right before Shabbat Shirah? Of course not. When I started this group, how many years ago? It was like 16 years ago. This was part of the, this was part of my plan. The same way that Shabbat Shirah is always right before Tu B'Shvat. So also our Zohar class is right. This one is always right before. Every 120 years, it's right before Shabbat Shirah. Like Judy Collins, she composed nothing, but gave her own interpretation to everything. That is so not true. I mean, she's not the greatest composer in the world, but she composed a couple of songs. My father always promised us that we would live in France. We'd go boating on the sand, and I would learn to dance. Etc. That's a song of hers. But you're right. Mostly she was an interpreter of other people's songs. Correct. That's her great. And she did it with alamot. She did it with this pure kind of voice. So yeah. Anyway, so we're here right before Shabbat Shira, and I'm going to pause here and share with you some teachings from a Chassidish Rebbe, the Piazetzner, who was a great Hasidic teacher and leader, and was murdered in the Shoah. And we have some of his writings, some of his books, some of his teachings, and he was very devoted to trying to help people. The Hasidim have a phrase, al derech avoda, which means on the path of service. You know, talking about Shabbos, talking about all these things is great, but how do I do it? How do I get into the mood? How do I get into the deeper feeling of it, and so on? So he was a master on teaching this, and he was, in an interpersonal way. He was always interacting with his students and with his Hasidim. He has a collection of writings that we have called Eish Kodesh, Holy Fire, which are his Divrei Torah on Shabbos in the ghetto, in that he tried to teach his followers not to give up while every day everyone was being murdered and destroyed. So we have fragments of that was preserved. But now I want to share with you some other things that he says, because I find them very beautiful. So therefore what I say goes. And I want to look at this a little bit in terms of what we were just saying. So share screen. Okay. So this is my translation of some of his writings. Everybody can see it? Okay. So this is a kind of a prayer that he wrote, and then after the words, I have some selections of more teachings that he has about this issue. Who can somebody can you see it well enough? Can you if I go like there, how's that?
Okay,
Okay, Beryl, can you see it enough to read it?
I think so.
Good, thank
I
you.
raise my heart and my prayer. I will sing to my Almighty. O God, how can I exalt your glory, even 10,000th part, for all the goodness that you have bestowed on me? I will sing out my thanks day and night. At all times and seasons, my soul churns within me, calling me to sing to you for all the love that you have freely given me. But before your glory, she is afraid to utter a sound. Oh God, please receive my desire to give thanks to you as if it were the songs of your prophets, and may the beats of my yearning heart be pleasing to you like the chimes of your Levites in the temple. Almighty, I should dance in the marketplace and the streets, in the deepest seas and the highest clouds, even in Sheol and among the stars, and sing and declare, all of you, bless the eternal. Together we can all exalt his holy name. You have neither beginning nor end, and your loving gifts and favors to us are without boundary or limit. So why is it that I do not merit to at least express my heart's eruptions in song, or my soul's burning for you in melody? The heavenly scenes that the holy prophets saw are indeed hidden from us. But how much greater is the pain when our very soul and spirit is hidden from us? Our soul storms like the multitude of angels in their choruses of song, but we are like the deaf, unable to hear. And the sweet singer of Israel, Rose of Sharon, sings within us, and we, like fools, are oblivious. I expect and pray, O God.
I repeat.
Oh, I repeat and pray, O God, please receive my desire to give thanks to you as if it were the songs of your prophets, and may the beats of my yearning heart be pleasing to you, like the chimes of your Levites in the temple.
Okay, so that's this prayer. Does anybody want to react to it, to comment on it? No? That's it? Nothing to say?
I'll give it a shot.
Great.
I don't know. It sounds like there's this whole amazing music of the sphere sort of thing this person can hear but not express and can't share. It sounds like if in the not terribly historic but otherwise awesome, play and movie Amadeus, like Salieri's frustration at recognizing Mozart's greatness but having no ability to express it or, to bring it forth from out of himself. So it's like this is somebody who is so keenly aware of it, but also very keenly aware of their own limitations.
So is it
It's
about,
like,
so with Salieri?
I don't think it's ego and like it is in Salieri's, but it's more, in this case, it's like bhakti. It's like the sheer love of God and praise, but he still can't be good enough to express what he thinks he should, what's really
I'm
there.
seeing it a little bit differently. With Salieri, he's envious because Mozart has talent and he doesn't. Or Mozart has a lot more talent than he has. I mean, he wasn't nobody, but he when he measures up what Mozart was capable of compared to what he was capable of, he feels diminished because he sees that Mozart was better. But I don't think that that he is comparing himself to anybody else here.
I agree. I don't think this is ego, but I think he knows there's something out there, even if he's attributing to God himself.
So look
that there's not enough words or notes or anything that he can get out for himself.
Let's read this line right here again. Carol, you got it?
Which line am I reading?
This one right here. You see where my cursor
And the
is?
sweet singer of Israel, the Rose of Sharon, sings within us, and we, like fools, are oblivious.
Okay, so the sweet singer of Israel usually is a phrase that alludes to King David, the author of most of the Psalms. But here, he says, the sweet singer of Israel, the Rose of Sharon, sings within us. Each one of us has this song and this singer, but we don't let it out. He, I would argue, is convinced that we are all Mozarts, or we are all Salieris without having to be jealous that we're not Mozarts.
Doesn't seem oblivious. So, I mean, since he's writing this.
Right, well, that's the point of this struggle that he has back and forth. He goes, on the one hand, as he starts off, I can see this and I really want to sing, but then why am I not singing? What's stopping me? What's holding me back? He thinks that there's something that he has to break through to in order to be able to sing. I would argue, and I have already more than once in our own community, and not just Shomrei, not just Montclair, the entire liberal progressive Jewish world has a lot of trouble with singing. I mean, Len tries to fight back against this all the time, right? So, but it's an uphill battle. We're not letting ourselves burst into song. I mean, that's what Shabbat Shira is all about, right? Shabbat Shira is we burst into song at the Red Sea. We came up. Obviously, you can be a biblical critic and do all kinds of analysis about histories and stuff, but that's not the story. The story is the amazement of us just like coming out with it, and just ringing with these expressions of exaltation. And he is saying, I feel it, and then it doesn't do it. Let's see what we have here in the next teaching. Okay, Beryl, you still with us?
Yes. So
Right
at
here, number
36,
Yeah.
okay. A person must make ladders by which to ascend occasionally to heaven. A nigun is one of the ladders, especially when one sings after the joy of performing a mitzvah and with a broken heart. In every person, there is a portion from the world of song. Therefore, when singing a song, one must arouse part of that world of song which is within him or her. But if one does not, but merely sings a song composed by someone else, this is like water spat out by his friend in disgust.
A pretty harsh image there,
Uh,
right? So here it's pretty explicit. Every single one of us has our own portion in the world of song. What's the world? The world of song. How do you say world in Hebrew? Olam, right? Olam Hashira, right? So we have, each one of us, just like each one of us has a place to put our feet down on in this world, each one of us has a place to put our voice in the world of song. And then he says, let yourself sing. A nigun, he says, can be like Jacob's ladder.
Yeah, I have a comment.
What?
I have a comment. Yeah,
Sure.
Joey Weisenberg makes a point of quoting the Perzner Rebbe, and he does it in his book, The Torah of Music. He also, in his course, in his Chavruta, he has the partners explore the meaning of that, but he goes into that in depth in his course and his book. This quote right here. Yes.
Excellent, good. What's the word for ladder in Hebrew?
Sulam.
Sulam, right? And that's what Jacob sees. What's the word for a musical scale in Hebrew?
Sulam.
Sulam, right? The same thing, a musical ladder. So just a wordless nigun can be a ladder for us to be able to scale to the heavens. Yeah, Jen.
Feel like I can be with him until that last bit. I mean, if he's going to have the high standards of like we each have to contribute in a very unique way, in a unique way, I guess there's no degrees of uniqueness, then okay, this might be your problem as to why we're not singing enough. Why if we're going to put that kind of pressure on ourselves, whether song is a metaphor for more or not, that would kill in me any ability to actually participate and make music of any kind.
It's a very extreme statement at the end, and we're going to look at a little bit more of what he writes to maybe unpack a little bit about what exactly does he mean by that. But what he is, what does that image mean? Water spat out by his friend in disgust. What does that convey? What does that conjure? Yes, a very scary image, very ugly image. Why is the person spitting out the water? Is it because the water doesn't taste good? Right? Is it because the water is too much and I can't swallow it? Right? There's something blocking me and I can't swallow it. Is it because I just don't appreciate it? And I don't want to take it. I don't want this water that's being given to me right now. It's not clear. None of that is clear. But merely singing a song composed by someone else, what's exactly happening there? Let's keep on going and let's see what he might be meaning by that. Okay. So here we have from another one of his books. Errol, you ready? You're back on.
Okay. What am I reading now?
Right here. Singing a melody.
Singing a melody is one of the keys of the soul, arousing her and her feelings. I can be that a person. It can be that a person opens his soul and a piece of it will be exposed. And nevertheless, not only does he do nothing with this, but he actually learns that harms, and he actually harms that very piece of his soul, whether by wanton joy or by broken-hearted melancholy and despair, until he falls from his confidence and faith and uses that part of his soul to do things which should not be done. May the merciful save us.
Okay, so this is pretty sophisticated stuff. It's very, again, hard-hitting. And what he's saying is that at any given moment, there's a piece of your soul that's brought to bear at that moment, and you can cultivate that soul, you can feed that soul, or you can hurt your own soul if you misuse the life force of that soul. You bring the soul to bear in what you're doing, but in what direction, in what quality, how much are you caring for it? And we know people who unfortunately have tremendous passions or tremendous drives or tremendous problems, and they end up taking the very amazing qualities that they have and breaking them to pieces because they can't know how to marshal those qualities, how to bring them together in a way that will bring more life to them. So he says the same thing happens in this kind of like little way of singing a melody. If you're given a gift, here, take this melody and use it as a key to open your soul. And if you misuse it, or if you waste it, right, or if you sing it in a way that's out of sync with what would be the right choice at that moment, then it's a I would use the word desecration. It's a desecration of the gift. Let's see. But
so what of the person who just for the life of them doesn't have the ability to carry a tune?
Well, I think that we've learned as we continue to explore the world that there are many different scales, and that there are many different musical systems of organizing a tune. But I wouldn't get hung up that much on, I think what I'm trying to say is we can be very expansive in the end. And he was very expansive. How we define what it mean for that person to sing, it's going to be different than Judy Collins. It's not going to sound like Judy Collins. It's going to sound like something else. But what he's talking about is not the purity of the notes. He's not talking about how good a singer you are. He's talking about what's happening in your soul when you're trying to express it. So, and again, that, what I think part of what Jen was reacting to is, this sounds very judgmental and it sounds like somebody's looking at me. He's not talking about anybody listening to you to judge whether you're singing well. He's talking about you, worrying about this. Larry.
Well, I just relating to.
Well, 1 second. I just want to say, right now I see people. I don't see everybody because you're on the side of my screen. So if you have something to say, it just just so happens that maybe the screen is smarter than I am, and Larry came up. I didn't see you before. But if somebody has something to say and I don't see you, and you're raising your hand and I can't see it, don't assume that I see you. So speak up. Yes, Larry.
Well, just on a personal level, I relate to this by thinking that there's a way of reciting a prayer. I just talk about the Tehillim, talking about Psalms like in Pesukei de Zimra, that is rote and kind of like spitting out water. Not quite spitting out water, almost like that. And there's a way of doing it that's beautiful. I know, like, for instance, I'm so familiar with certain of the Psalms that all of us are like familiar with Ashrei, because we say it, you know, from childhood so many times that we could say it like on autopilot to the point where, you know, it's not Ashrei. It's not, in other words, there's nothing happy in it. There's nothing, we're not expressing joy of being in God's house. Where, I don't know, you know, where it's like we turn on a faucet and we turn it off the faucet, and that's maybe what the Piazetzner is protesting. And it doesn't, I don't think it has to do with the beauty of your voice. It doesn't have to do with that. It has to do with whether your soul is in some way connected to those words, which are not new words. They're not words you're composing. They're old words, but are you connected with them? Anyway, I do this all the time. I know that when I daven, a lot of times I'm just like trying to get through it, you know?
Right,
So.
right.
Even reading ahead, I'm still having a little issue here.
All right, let's read ahead together, and then let's see what happens. Okay, so but
because we wish to draw out our souls so that she may rule over our bodies, to bind her to her loneliness, and to bind her
in her holiness,
and nullify her and our independent selves within the soul of Shaddai. Therefore, let us accustom ourselves to song and melody for the service of heaven.
Okay, so here he talks about losing oneself in God. Like, this is a well-known aspiration of all mystics and of many spiritual traditions and so on. And partly what he's saying here is that song is a vehicle of letting go of yourself. You can use song in a very egotistical way, but the true nature of song is actually to get out of oneself. And let us accustom ourselves, and this is the interesting paradox. Let's make it a habit to actually not be stuck in our habitual unthinking ways. Let's get used to the idea of not doing the things that we do all the time in our usual get used to way. And now he continues. Go ahead.
It is not necessary that we create new melodies, just as we would not say that anyone who wishes to cheer himself up with some wine really has to make the wine from the pressing of the grapes, or that someone who wishes to arouse himself or his friend through words must invent a new language.
Okay, so here he's coming back to this idea. When I say that it has to be personal and yours and nobody else's, I don't mean you have to constantly create a new song and you have to constantly create even a new language. You're given this stuff, right? You're given a gift of all of these things that you can use. So then what does it mean then to, put yourself into it in order to get out of yourself, right? That's the loop that he's working with. So let's see. Take for yourself.
Take for yourself any motif of melody. Turn your face to the wall, or simply close your eyes and turn your thought to imagine that you stand before the throne of glory, and that with heart broken open, you have come to pour out your soul to the eternal through the song and melody that come out of your heart. Then, on your own, you will feel that your soul goes forth in joyful song.
Let's conclude this selection. Go ahead.
If at first you were the one making music before your soul so as to awaken her from her slumber, little by little you will feel that your soul has begun to make music on her own.
Okay. So, all right, Jen, you wanted to make some comments about this?
I guess the very last line helps it a bit, because otherwise it sounds like while his expectations for our souls might be valid, they're not excessively realistic. Because you're just putting too much pressure to have this amazing experience of, and like Larry was saying, or Len, I think it was Larry, like, I actually kind of disagree with that, because a lot of prayers are by rote, and I think the breakthroughs only happen once in a while, and it's okay to have it rote over and over until you just happen upon one of those moments where it's not, and where everything comes together. So if you keep the little by little part for me in my own experience, then okay, then I can kind of get behind this, but the rest does make it sound like the perfect is the enemy of the good, or even just trying. And it's like a little, like I said, it's kind of a really, really like high-minded thing that would, if somebody said this to me, if I had a mentor saying this to me, I would be like giving up, because I'd be like, okay, that's like not going to happen. So I would just be like moving on. It just, that's my reaction to this. It's a little asking too much until the very, very end, where it's like, oh, by the way, this could be little by little.
Right. So
I think I had the opposite reaction that Jen had. I mean, it's those last couple verses that brought me around to your thinking originally. I don't know why, but I just kind of finished watching the Vikings on the History Channel, and
football
you know,
team?
the pagans and the Druids had these beautiful melodies that they use as they're doing their human sacrifices.
Yeah.
And so I'm not following the whole essentialness of the melody, I guess, because the melody can be an intoxicant to me, to I guess hide those feelings.
To hide which feelings?
That I'm gonna, what the Vikings are doing, what the pagans are doing.
Right. So I think he tries to deal with that a little bit up here. That you can harm, you can you can abuse your soul if you use these very powerful, intoxicating experiences, in the wrong context, or pushing it for the wrong direction. And what what we decide is an abuse or not is in these kinds of very abstract.
So I think I shouldn't have mentioned wine. I think it's more like, I think a better analogy would be hallucinogens. That you can do. There are a lot of cultures that use psilocybin and all sorts of interesting.
I think that I don't go there at all. I think he's being very conscious. He's not telling you become ecstatic and lose your own consciousness and hallucinate. What he's saying is be very purposefully directed in saying, I want to open up my soul that I know I have, and that I feel most of the time is either asleep or in prison. And how am I going to be able to free it a little bit, to loosen it up a little bit, to awaken it, to wake it up a little bit, and to give it space. So yes, hallucinogens, some people use that as a like shock therapy. But the point of those things and the danger of those things is that you don't have control. And will it pay off in the end or not, is an open question, and certainly for any particular individual. But he's talking about a system. He's talking about a community of people who have these aspirations. And now he's trying to encourage each one to come back to Jen's point. as a guru, and that's what he was, that's what a Hasidic Rebbe was. I think that part of what he would be trying to do is make you believe in yourself about this, so that you wouldn't be scared off, so that you wouldn't be saying, "Oh, this person is high, terrifying me because their standards are impossible to meet, and I will never be able to reach this." I'll say something, my own personal experience. I mean, one way or the other, I've tried to be a teacher for many years. And years and years ago, 20 years ago, I took on the leadership of a rabbinical seminary. And the first Dvar Torah that I gave to introduce myself to the community was a long Dvar Torah. It wasn't one of these like 5-minute or even 15-minute sermons. It was a long discussion about what I thought our community was there for, and it went in and out of a lot of different things. And I was trying to show people what I stood for, and I was trying to set a bar at a place that I felt was valuable. And one student came to me afterwards shaking and said, "If this is what you want us to become, I can't be here, because what I can never do what you just did." And it was very moving to me that this person had the courage to confront me with that. And I tried to explain that I'm me and you're you, but I want to be able to feel that I can be me in front of you. And I promise to do everything I can to help you be you and not be me, not be a clone of me, and not to copy me or satisfy what I think I would want. To recognize that you are you, and but I want you to be the best that you can in the way that I try every once in a while when I'm not completely out of it. And I try to go a little further, to build that ladder to go up higher. And thankfully, 20 years later, we have a great relationship. We still are in touch with each other. We still support each other. That student is a rabbi now. She's been a rabbi now for a bunch of years already, doing excellent work, totally different than what I do, in every way. But we were able to not alienate each other, or I was able, thanks to this person's coming to me, I was able to get past the intimidation factor that person felt. So that's a challenge for sure. But what I relate to, and this rabbi, Zetzner, was a super compassionate genius of guidance. And so I don't think that he was at all trying to intimidate anybody or try to literally, it would be to him, discouraging people would be a terrible sin. Discouraging in the sense of taking away a person's courage, and discouraging in the sense of brokenhearted melancholy and despair. For him, that's such a dangerous place to go to. And he never wanted to create that in people. So, I hear that the awkwardness of this written statement, that it doesn't come across well enough in that kind of way. I would say, that's why I'm trying to sort of speak it out, and say that's not the spirit that he's in. What he's trying to tell you is you're not giving yourself enough opportunity and credit to actually let loose what you have inside of you. And all of us have been, I think, confronted by somebody who ends up saying things that we never expected them to say, or doing something that we never expected them to do. And then we have this real delight that you never expected this person to be capable of whatever it is that they end up doing or being, and they are. And he's trying to say, and that's you too. That's you too. And here's a realm that he feels is universally accessible. Each person accesses it in their own way, but it's there for everybody. It's like the air. My soul is not your soul is not the other person's soul, but all of us have a soul, that alamot, that hidden, mysterious world, and some kind of music is possible for each and every one of us if we search for it, if we try to grasp it, if we try to build a ladder. So that's the best I can make out of this. Anybody else? Yeah, Len.
Yeah, it's the Hasidic, it's Hasidism more than any other Jewish movement that has put that into actuality, because they created these, well, it's not original, but the spiritual technology of the nigun. And I don't know about his particular group, but the Modishas, the Breslovs, the Babich, many of the Hasidic sects have a very strong tradition of having hundreds of their members come together on a Shabbat afternoon and go sing for an hour, one nigun, and it's transportive for them. And they go into another space together as a community. And I don't know if they incorporate the nigunim in their tefillot. They have a lot of words to get through, more than hours, so there isn't time to. But they do have that technology, and they do use it. So it's very much a part of the Hasidic tradition in many of the sects.
Right. No, I that's for sure. They also have more time, actually, because they spend a lot more time on their davening. So they have more to do, and they also have more time to do it, because they don't, they finish Shacharit at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's okay. So
I also want to add that Shomrei had the foresight to bring in Joey Weisenberg, to bring in Deborah Sachs-Mintz. I was there for both of those weekends, to demonstrate that this technology can be used in the liberal synagogue to get everybody together to a higher place of soul work during tefillah. And they were, I think, each of them in their own way were very effective at teaching that. I don't know if it can be used, since then we had the pandemic, kind of wailing that, but Kol HaKavod to Shomrei for bringing these two artists who are very much at the forefront of making prayer in the conservative and liberal synagogue more neshamadik through music.
So I want to just highlight again this phrase right here: turn your face to the wall. It doesn't have to be in shul. It doesn't have to be with 20 people or 100 other people. It can be that way or that way. And yes, they're doing yeoman's work in trying to break through these self-imposed barriers that we've created. I also want to mention that in thinking back, it's right before Shabbos Shira that Debbie Friedman, Zechrona Livracha, passed away. So she was a different, guru for trying to teach us that singing wasn't just for the Goyim or just for the Hasidim. It's an ongoing question. What is the place that we're going to make for this in our own growth as human beings? It's almost, it's a cliche that many of us like to sing in the shower because of two things that I can think of. Three things. First of all, a lot of showers are in places with good acoustics. So, it sounds impressive. The echoing is good. But most of us, most of the time, don't take showers with anybody else. So there's a privacy that happens in the in the shower stall, in the bathroom when we take our shower, and that's part of that, taking away the judgment of somebody else, taking away, oh, if I can't carry a tune, then I'm going to get embarrassed, or somebody's expecting this or that or the other thing. I can just let it out and be happy with my own expression. And the other thing is, most of us take showers naked, and that's another way of letting go of inhibitions, right? So that we put ourselves into this secure, private, space that lets us go a little haywire, that lets us go a little, be a little silly, and that's not so bad. According to the Piazetzner, it's not so bad if we can use it for more than just for the holiness of silliness, right? For the and the silliness of holiness. All right, we're going to stop here for tonight, and I want to wish everybody a wonderful Shabbat Shira. Next week we will not be meeting. Next week everybody's invited to study with the next rabbinic candidate who's visiting Shomrei, and hopefully we'll be able to continue the following week. I also want to mention some people here are also in Talmud. We're not doing Talmud this Sunday because we have the Martin Luther King interfaith service to be part of. All right, Sei gesund, everybody.